Yes, my brother family, as the hurt, it don't happen. No, Buhari don't they seek for forgiveness. Hey, and some Nigerians don't request for some kind things. Maybe Buhari do am first before they forgive Buhari. Man, not talk too much. Just they hit this like button. They share this video. May other obedient family make they see, and may Nigerians make they see what Buhari need to do before we go forgive him.
The first question will be, okay, let's assume that he's asking Nigerians, because personally, I don't think he's asking Nigerians. What do you think? Perhaps he's talking to the cabals, people he probably failed to give contracts that he should have given contracts. I feel personally that he's talking to those people, but I may be wrong. What do you think? Let's assume that he actually is referring to Nigerians and that he wants Nigerians to pardon him, to forgive him if he hurt us. And now the question, if he hurt us, is he an if he hurt us? Or does he not know that he actually did hurt us? So that statement sounds rhetorical to me. I don't know. Perhaps it's just me overreacting. But let's take that statement again and say, okay, fine. He meant it and he's asking Nigerians to forgive him. Forgive him for what? What did President Muhammadu Buhari do as president of Nigeria that Nigerians should forgive him for? How did he offend us? Did he offend you? Well, I think he offended me plenty. And I think he offended many Nigerians plenty. Because when Buhari was elected, Nigerians had high hopes. And when he came out to make that very famous speech, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody, Nigerians had high hopes. Nigerians had high hopes. But what did we see? We very quickly realized that we probably may have entered one chance. Because we started seeing very quickly the opposites of the things that he promised. First of all, he came and said that he was going to stop medical tourism. But we very quickly found out that he took medical tourism to a whole new height. Perhaps the only person that can break his record now will be Tinubu. He promised that he was going to fight corruption. And it will appear that corruption has also taken a whole new dimension. Now, we're talking of people stealing Nigeria's oil, which he claimed he was going to fix. But from stealing maybe 5% to 10% of Nigeria's oil, the oil thieves have become even bolder. They are stealing almost 100% of Nigeria's oil. And what did President Muhammadu Buhari do? We're yet to see. All we hear is one house sitting, one house committee meeting after another house committee hearing, and still no results. He promised that the economy was going to be fixed. Well, you tell me if the economy has been fixed. Dollar was 190 naira to a dollar when it came. Now it's 850, 750. So has he fixed the economy? The price of food stuff, something like a bag of rice, was 8.5 when it came. Now it's over 40,000. So you tell me, has he fixed it? Has he fixed it? Should Nigerians forgive him for that? Did he hurt Nigerians? Of course he did. But should Nigerians forgive him? Should Nigerians forgive him for failing to fight corruption? For failing to fight corruption? For failing to fix security under President Muhammadu Buhari, who we thought, being a general, a retired general, was going to just wave his hand and all the insecurity problems of Nigeria would be wiped away, wiped out. But under President Muhammadu Buhari, oh, how has insecurity metastasized, became worse, spread to all the regions, all the geopolitical regions of Nigeria. Should Nigerians forgive him for that? Or does President Muhammadu Buhari not know that that hurts Nigerians? We are here complaining about the Chibok girls that were abducted. And right under President Muhammadu Buhari, students are now being abducted right, left and center. People are now being kidnapped right, left and center. In fact, kidnapping has become a very lucrative business. Should Nigerians forgive him for that? And then he came and said he was going to give us, oh, wonderful elections, free and fair elections. He was going to give us a legacy, leave a legacy of good elections behind, and we believed it. And then the next thing we heard was that we're going to do currency swap, and Nigerians were deceived to think that that was going to help to stop vote buying. But how did that end up? Just made Nigerians suffer for nothing, to the extent that we were now using money to buy money. And somehow President Muhammadu Buhari is not sure if he offended Nigerians that way, and is asking if he hurt us, we should forgive him. Should Nigerians forgive him for that? The legacy of free and fair and credible elections that he promised, which we believed as Nigerians, particularly when we started seeing the armies being rolled into Lagos, and we thought, oh yes, now he said he was not going to allow any thugs to snatch ballot boxes. Now the soldiers are going to help us protect and make sure that the elections were free and fair, no thuggery. Was that what we saw? Rather, in fact, we saw the opposite, like a state-supervised thuggery that some people are now describing as democracy as thugocracy. In fact, the soldiers now seems to have been deployed in case when election results were declared, however unjustly, if anybody tried to protest, it seemed like the soldiers were positioned for such protests. And you are asking if I hurt you and Nigeria should forgive you. Can Nigerians ever forgive him for that? He came and promised and said, oh, we're fighting corruption. First of all, we'll start with fuel subsidy. Fuel subsidy. Yeah, we're going to fight the corruption in the fuel subsidy regime. Who is subsidizing who? Fuel subsidy is a scam. There is no subsidy. And we believe him. And of course it is true. There is no fuel subsidy. But rather than fighting the corruption in the petroleum sector, he made himself the Minister of Petroleum, and then we saw corruption take a whole new height right under him. In fact, it appeared as though Nigeria became a corruptocracy, a government of the corrupt, by the corrupt, for the corrupt. That's what it will be like. Because from 200 billion subsidy that we were paying under Jonathan, that Nigerians were screaming, he went up to 6 trillion under President Muhammad, or thereabouts, under President Muhammadu Buhari, to the extent that we're using all our revenue to pay subsidy or to pay for the interest on the loans that we have borrowed under President Muhammadu Buhari. Loans that went from 20 trillion to over 77 trillion under 8 years. To the extent that monies that we make as a country from what is left of our oil revenues that are stolen, from what is left of our oil revenues that were declared and also stolen locally, we're now using that to pay for interest and borrowing to pay subsidy. Come on. And you're asking, oh, if I hurt Nigerians? If you hurt Nigerians and then Nigerians should forgive you? Should Nigerians forgive you? Can Nigerians ever forgive you for these many things that you have done to them? And then what we saw, in fact, we thought we would have a fair president under President Muhammadu Buhari, but what we have gotten under him is a nepotistic tendency that transcends all dimensions. A nepotistic tendency that is unprecedented. That's what we saw. To the extent that there seemed to be an Islamization agenda, and it does nothing about it. There seemed to be a political, economic, and security blockade of Christians within Nigeria, in a country where there seems to be 50-50 splits between Muslim and Christians, and there's a blockade, and he does nothing about it, and he expects us to forgive him. On the last straw that broke the camel's back, he supervised and imposed, he supervised and almost saw to the imposition of a president-elect on Nigerians that he knew had a conviction of drugs-related money laundering in America. A president-elect that had dual citizenship, which a fellow member of the APC wrote to him about. So if he claimed he did not know before, the letter obviously exposes the fact that he knew. But what did he do? Did he call for the investigation of such a president-elect? No, he did not. He rather allowed that president-elect to be forced on Nigerians. And then he's asking if he hurt Nigerians? You are asking if you hurt Nigerians? Of Of course you hurt Nigerians. And you're asking for Nigerians to forgive you? Well, Nigerians, I don't know if you can forgive him. Particularly for what he did, allowing the mandate of Peter Obi to be stripped from him by forces that he could have stopped. But he did nothing. And he's coming to say the election was free and fair. And now they're trying to save face with Adamawa and doing things. They are calling for investigation, removing Rex and removing Commissioner of Police. Things they didn't do for Rivers. Now we hear in Rivers State that the results collated from even results on the IREF portal of INEC shows that Peter Obi won. Meanwhile, INEC went to declare APC and Tinubu winner in Rivers. President Muhammadu Buhari has not called for an investigation into that. President Muhammadu Buhari has not called for an investigation into Jennifer that was stabbed in Lagos and still came back to vote with blood dripping from her face. No investigation for the ballots that thought it wise to call for Oro into an election season. If an investigation has not been called into the actions of people like MC Oluomo, who almost caused ethnic war in Nigeria. No investigations for that. And then you ask Nigerians to forgive you. Perhaps for me, I have one condition. If my forgiveness means anything to you, return the mandate of Peter Obi, and then I can forgive you. Else, I don't think you even need my forgiveness. Or perhaps I'm just one Nigerian. So the question over to you Nigerians. Can you forgive President Buhari for all these things and many more that I may not have remembered to mention? Can you forgive President Muhammadu Buhari?